You're, you're live. You're
Hello, guys. Hello. Yes, I'm live. Yes. Okay. So, hello, guys. I'm really excited to and
Hello,
talk to you
guys.
all, guys. Just a second. There's a noise. Yeah. Okay. So, excuse my technical fault. A few minutes back. I mean, an hour back. But yeah, I'm here right in front of you amidst pandemic. We can do it virtually, right? So it's not an in-person or on the stage event. I would have loved to do that. So I really thank the team at uh, the Global IT Security Conference who are connecting this particular event. So even though we are uh, still stuck at home in pandemic, it's been nice to listen to such informative events. So I believe that you have gained a lot of knowledge just before this session and even after the session, and there is also an opportunity to have this individual one-on-one sessions with, let's say, Dark Trace and so many others. So thanks again for joining in. So I'm Vijay Pravin Maharajan. So I come from India, but right now I live in Munich, Germany. So it's been a heavy snowfall here in Munich. So I'm just sitting close to the snow, just outside the window. I see a lot of snow outside. But yeah, sorry for again taking a lot of your time with the technical error that I had in the last hour. But now everything seems to be perfect and working well. So I've been giving talks in various conferences and webinars and so many events. I just thought I'll have very few slides. Maybe I'll take the slides at the end, towards the end, and I'll sort of uh, talk to you guys live on screen rather than showing some slides. So I just thought I'll have a different way of doing a presentation, because all these pandemic times has been a lot of slides, and I have prepared a lot of slides. Even for this event, I have prepared one, but yeah. So and when it comes to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, so these are interesting aspects of industry, right? I mean, nowadays, especially with this pandemic, a lot of industries are going into digitalization. A lot of industries are moving digital, which enables them to think about solutions like AI, machine learning, and data analytics, and that is where this security comes into picture. Because if you move digital, if somebody is quite new to this particular digitalization and digital era, they might think that okay, we are prone to digital attacks or cyber attacks, right? So that is completely normal. I mean, that is that is in the minds of everybody. So just to give you a little background to who I am, I did my master's in Technical University of Munich, which is in Germany, and right now I am with Siemens, working as a data analytics expert, sitting in Munich, working for mobility. So I work with mobility data that deals with a lot of trains and its infrastructure. So Siemens is again a well-recognized firm that has offices and operations in more than 100 countries, and I'm also happy that I represent Siemens on such a bigger stage. So thanks again, Mohsin, Anna, and the others behind this event. So yes, I've taken a couple of minutes just to settle in. Yeah, I hope it's the same at your end as well. So going into the topic, as I said, machine learning, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. If someone or some industry thinks about these, for sure they could have this attacks or security attacks at their back of their head, right? So that is obvious. That is forgiven. So as a company, what should we do? So what should we do? What should we do to reduce or minimize these attacks? I mean, of course, cyber attacks are everywhere. So it is everywhere, and it is happening all across. I mean, even a couple of months back, that there was a famous Twitter hack that said transfer these amount of bitcoins or something to this wallet. So that was same message posted from different famous Twitter handles like Elon Musk and so on, right? So it happens everywhere. So what is touted to be a great um, security, like blockchain is deemed to be one of the highly secure platforms, right? But even blockchain platforms and NFT tokens are prone to some attacks of late. So going into this particular AI, what AI can solve? I mean, how AI can resolve these issues when it comes to business emails, or let's say whatever data theft that is being done. So it's crucial for each and every country to have a particular law in place. So for sure in Germany, dealing with data has become a lot tougher than it was before. So thanks to GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So because of this GDPR nowadays, even I cannot work with the data that is dealt from my neighboring teams within Siemens. I mean, I'm not talking about external data transfer. I'm talking about internal data transfers. So even that is a question with GDPR in place. So with these things, how things are going to shape up in the future? So with more and more companies turning into digitalization, with more and more companies uh, trying to build a firewall around their data and their resources. So how are we gonna proceed? So that's the biggest question. And I'll quickly share my screen. Yes. So so what all, before going into that, what has happened since 2000? So just 20 years down the lane, we see a lot of digital disruption. So as I said, more than 50% of Fortune 500 companies are out of business since 2000. So AI is disruptive, and it will be even more disruptive in the coming days. So I see a lot of things getting automated. I see a lot of applications getting automated. So people always have this question in mind: will AI eat all those jobs? For sure, yes, it will eat a chunk of jobs from the market. But I'm sure with this digitalization and this update of technology, people will groom themselves accordingly. So of course, there could be a loss of jobs, but nevertheless, things are getting automated and things are made easy, right? So nobody would have dreamt an electric cars 10 or 15 years back, but now we see a lot of electric cars on the road. So that doesn't mean that it is a feature of AI, but this is what disruptive technologies can do. So nowadays, um, mechanically built cars, or let's say traditional cars, are losing its craze on the market, right? Because of the advent of electric cars. So that is why I say AI will be even more disruptive. And with IoT, things are going to be very massive. So it's saying connected people, connected apps, connected things. So they generate massive data and in many forms. So be it retail, be it finance, or be it pharmaceutical industry or any industry. So there are a lot of applications, people, and things that are connected, and we can expect more than 10% of growth of data than the traditional business data. So imagine we have a Fitbit, right? So that communicates to a cell phone or mobile phone, and then that that is then translated to a physician in the future. So it is all about devices communicating with each other, and we can imagine how massive or how big the data is. And when it comes to devices communicating to each other, it is possible that there could be some security breach, right? So things can be manipulated, things can be breached easily. So this is where AI has again been trying to resolve this issue. So just by backpedaling AI, there are a lot of AI applications in the market that tries to, let's say, put an end to these security breaches. Of course, it cannot be done overnight, but it will take some time. But gradually, over a period of time, for sure, it will be put to an end. I mean, not to a complete halt, of course. I mean, whenever there is a positive side, there is also a negative side, right? So we have to cope up with both the ends. So just like a coin which has two sides on it, heads and tails, we will have as many as good things. I mean, also we will have a downside to every good side. So let me tell you an example from Siemens. I mean, we at Siemens we have a Religent platform. So we have a platform that is called Religent, which is nothing but Rail plus Intelligent. So what we do is we have certain boxes or certain components that we use to take it to trains, collect the data from the trains. So the hardest thing about data collection is data is completely different from each trains, right? So trains are running from so long. I mean, 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So that is a bit of downside when it comes to railway data, because some countries they do run latest trains, but some still they run the older trains. So trains that are from 70s or mid 80s, they do produce a really bad quality of data in the sense the cockpit data. But nevertheless, these guys are doing a great job on field. So I'm not here to criticize what trains are producing, but it is just from a data scientist or a data analytics perspective. Data from the newer trains, let's say post 2000, data has been really good. So what we do is we grab the data and we do a secure data transmission from sensor to central data storage. So this is where again a question arises: will there be any data breach? Will there be any security attacks? Ye- I mean that there have been some security breaches in the past, but we have a secure data transmission system in place, so we were not prone to such attacks. So that is what even I'm proud of. And data processing, when it comes to data processing, I mean, we have a team of data scientists, data analysts, data engineers, business analysts. So we sit together and we see what's the requirement of the client, what can we do, what can be done, and then we ponder upon that particular um, problem solution, and then we try to provide them solutions. And then comes the phase of data evaluation, where we turn data into valuable insights. So we give industries some data driven business ideas and business insights. So we enable digital services solutions, and that is where we build advanced algorithms, and we have the expert domain know-how, and we'll of course bring in best practices with best tools on the market. So that is one thing we do. And for data visualization, again, we have roles and rights engine. So let's say there are several layers in a market or in a firm. So let's say management is there, a dispatcher, and a maintenance engineer who is right out there on a field level. So every data cannot be shared to everybody. So that is where we have this roles and rights engine, where we say if there is a list of 20 visualizations on a dashboard, then a management guy will be able to see let's say 4 or 5 visualizations on his screen, and then a dispatcher can see what is required from his end, and same to the field engineers. So those who are on the field, they'll know what visualizations they have to look at, and that is only allowed to them. And the good thing about this platform is it is modular, it is scalable and open. So this is one message I wanted to transmit, or to give away through this session. So if you think about security breaches, try to build layers. So the layers, the more layers can actually delay, or let's say prevent the users who are trying to breach those data. So like we do, put those layers: rules and rights engines, management level, dispatcher and maintenance engineers, so that you don't have to ponder upon this data breaches. So one thing that has to be clear is data science that makes your systems smarter, but decision science makes you smarter, right? So it's not just about making your system smarter, but to make a person think about why do we need this particular data? Why do we have to work on this data? So with the advent of laws like GDPR, and let's say when it comes to medical data, there is HIPAA compliance from US. So things like these can actually make it tricky for those who are actually trying to breach or deal with data. But nevertheless, uh, this is the message that I wanted to give it to you guys for the in the session today. So big data that costs money, but big analytics earns money. So just try to make use of the data that is in a good way and in a good sense, and not to let's say just focus on making your system smarter. So try to be smart yourself, and then you will analyze that there are so many other options that are wide open, and you can actually do a lot more than expected. So as I said, develop the right thing. So start creating a flow that can help you um, create more and more robust applications. So develop the right thing, use the right data. So if there is a system that requires so much of data, try to let's say retain some data and discard the others. So there is no point in holding on to a data that looks ugly, right? So make use of the right data, and understand the methods. I mean, when it comes to AI and machine learning, there are n number of uh, methodologies. So let's say regression models are there, decision tree, random forest, and there are so many. I mean, there are n number of things that a machine understands. So imagine it starts with a simple mobile phone at our hand. So we have a mobile phone that knows if we have swiped left, it goes to the left screen, and if you swipe right, it goes to the right screen, right? So machine learning starts there. I mean, it is simple. It is everywhere. So the mouse pad in your laptop, the iris scanner, the fingerprint scanner somewhere. So machine learning and AI is already part of our lives. So it cannot be taken away just with the whisker. So try to understand the models, understand the methods, and try which thing that is required for the particular application. So that is more important, and then try to make it repeatable. So industries are now talking about reusables. So that's a fancy term uh, out there in the industry right now. So people are trying to make repeatable insights or repeatable applications using data. So imagine data is almost same, right? Let's say for mobility or train users, data is more or less same. The trains might vary, the trains might change, the driver might vary, but ultimately the data from a data perspective, data engineering perspective is still the same. So try to make repeatable so that you don't have to build everything from the scratch, and you can also sell it at a different price and at a greater price. And that is where industries are focusing on repeatables currently. And if you build a system and if you make it more and more robust, then anybody shouldn't have to worry about particular data breaches or security breaches on our systems. So that's again a clear message to the community that is listening to this session here. Try to develop the right thing, use the right data, understand the methods, and make it repeatable. So once you repeat and repeat the same thing, it makes the system robust. So imagine an iPhone. An iPhone, Apple just have very few devices, right? And in their armory, they have a very few devices. But imagine the robustness of the iOS and let's say the Mac OS. It is still a hard nut to crack. So the reason is they are repeating their work with few additions to their armory, but ultimately what they are doing is trying to reuse their capabilities. Reusables is one of the key aspects of Apple. So such is the mindset and understanding of all of us. So I mean, I guess that's it from my end. And if you have any questions, for sure, you can ask. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Vijay. It's just a phenomenal presentation from your side.
Thanks a
uh,
lot.
the, the way you have explained each and every aspect of it, is really commendable, and I feel honored to have you as a keynote speaker in my conference. Thank you so much for
You're
such a
welcome.
presentation. Now we will be moving towards our next presentation, who is Deepak Talwar from Microsoft. Okay, he will be joining us within few minutes. Thank you so much. Thank
Good.
you.